It's Wednesday, which means it's Game Ball Day here on Midco Sports. My name is Jody Norstedt, here to deliver your top performers and the winner of this beautiful football sponsored by Farmers Union Insurance. Boy, what a week. Varsity Sports Live debuted this past Friday with some great highlights from all over the state. We had big men scoring touchdowns. We had a player scoring on consecutive plays. Yes, on a kickoff, the ensuing kickoff. More on that one in a bit. We had a helmet catch in our live game. Shout out to Keaton McGregor, who went bonkers for West Fargo in that one. And make sure you tune in again this Friday for a complete recap of all the big games in the Peace Garden State. Davies against Cheyenne this week, Wahpeton at Red River, Velva against Des Lacs Burlington, and that's just to name a few. Okay, this week's Midco Sports Game Ball winner made Teddy Roosevelt proud. Yes, Teddy, as Pearce Parks led the Red River Roughriders to a massive win. Remember, the strength of your opponent plays a significant role when making the final call on who's a top performer and who wins the hardware, the game ball. More on that coming up in a bit. First, let's unveil our top performers, and you're going to find out real quick just how difficult our decision was this week. Starting with this young man, Cashman Bellegarde. Might as well call him Cash Money Bellegarde. The Woodchucks have made this list before for big rushing performances, and they're on here again as Bellegarde takes 30 carries for a whopping 468 yards and 8 touchdowns, not to mention a pick 6 on defense. That'd be great stats for a team, let alone one individual. The Woodchucks romped to a win over Midway Minto in a game that saw 108 points and very little defense. Props to Bellegarde and that offensive line. If you wanted to see defense, you should have showed up to Davies on Friday night because the Eagles were flying around making plays. Wayne Weirmeyer's group piled up 7 sacks and 3 picks on defense, not to mention a punt return for a touchdown on a goofy play in a 20-9 win over third-ranked Mandan. The next challenge for that defense, slowing down Cheyenne, something they were able to do last year, if you remember, in week 2 when they won 35-6. Javin Freeze is one of those rare players that has already won a game ball in both football and basketball. The Grant County Flasher senior had another worthy performance Friday night in a win over Hettinger County. Freeze passed for 160 yards, rushed for 174 yards, and tied a school record with 5 rushing touchdowns, not including one more touchdown through the air. Those 9-man teams out west have to be tired of seeing a Freeze on the field every Friday night when they play the Storm. North Prairie's Blake Madsen did it again. After rushing for 244 yards and 4 touchdowns on 6 carries last week, he adds 273 yards on 10 carries for 4 more touchdowns in a 50-point win over Larimore. Madsen is averaging 32 yards per carry. No, I'm not making that up. 32 yards per carry, and he's scored on half of his 16 rushes so far. NDSU commit Nate Tasted helping pave the way up front. Junior Trayton Mauk is Wahpeton's Mr. Do-It-All, kind of like Ryan Smith was back in the day. Mauk accounted for 200 combo yards and 4 touchdowns on 21 touches on offense. Then on defense, he added 6.5 tackles, a sack, and a pick 6. It all helped Wahpeton start the season 1-0 with a win over Devil's Lake. Pound for pound, man, Mauk has got to be one of the toughest guys you'll find. This next duo was a rating smash on Friday night on Midco Sports. West Fargo Packer fans weren't satisfied with the outcome of a 46-40 loss to Century, but they had to love the varsity debut of the Brady Medina-Keaton McGregor connection. Medina passed for 360 yards and 3 scores, with 13 of those passes being hauled in by McGregor for an incredible 247 yards and 3 touchdowns. McGregor set a new school record for both catches and receiving yards in a game. If college coaches weren't lining up at his door before, well, they better be now. And did you see this from Varsity Sports Live on Friday? Kylan Swenson scored on this rushing touchdown, one of his 2 in the game to go with nearly 100 yards. Then on the ensuing kickoff, ball poked loose, and he's right there to grab it and score a fumble recovery touchdown. Throw in 3 tackles and an interception on defense, and you have one heck of a night for the Kindred Junior in a 41-12 win over Cavalier. Lemoore Litchfield Marion rebounded well from its season-opening loss to Sargent County by thumping Enderlin. Sophomore Gunnar Thiel just finished with a 5-touchdown performance, 2 completions, 2 touchdowns through the air, and 160 yards on the ground. He made it look easy all night. Michael Twardowski earned a free Sandy's donut for being named player of the game in our live game on Friday, and he earns a spot here after passing for 140 and rushing for over 100, finishing with 4 combined touchdowns. Twardowski's touchdown run with 1:30 left proved to be the game winner in the 46-40 victory over West Fargo. Carrington's Logan Wenninger is a superstar on the track, and he's proving that even in pads, he's hard to catch. Wenninger turned 12 carries into 190 yards and 4 touchdowns on Friday night. But wait, there's more. He also took a kickoff return to the house for a 5th touchdown as the Cardinals knocked off Rugby 48-14. So pretty much every one of those performances are game ball worthy, but our committee ruled in favor of the guy who wears this glorious lid that we showed you earlier, Red River Junior quarterback Pearce Parks. He is your game ball winner, sponsored by Farmers Union Insurance. Parks completed 16 of his 22 passes for 286 yards and 5 touchdowns to help Red River knock off the 2-time defending state champs from Jamestown, who opened the year ranked number 2 in the state. Parks can give the assist to his teammates, including Hayden Hong, who hauled in 5 passes for 127 yards and 3 of the 5 touchdowns. What's the magnitude of this win for Red River? Well, Jamestown had ended their season each of the last 2 seasons in the playoffs. And here's one for you. This is Red River's first 2-0 start since 2012. That's over a decade ago. Coincidentally, the wins came against the same 2 teams in the same order that year, Williston and Jamestown. So congrats to Pearce Parks and the rest of the Roughriders. You have a Midco Sports Game Ball coming your way. Well, that's a wrap. Congrats to all of our honorees this week. We'll see you Friday at 10:30 for Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports and streaming on Midco Sports Plus.